Action!
The film is really about self-discovery, about discovering one's true heritage, one's true childhood, and the truth about one's parentage.
The film already exists, like Rodin, the sculptor, who said that about, a stone. That the sculpture already is in the stone. That's what I feel about storytelling as well.
You can construct the world. You can construct through the juxtaposition of imagery and sounds and the mise en scène.
A good shoot is a well-prepared shoot, so...
A director who's really prepared is open to all sorts of new possibilities. For me, being prepared is not about being dogmatic and fixed. For me, being prepared is about being open. It's about preparing myself to be open to see the film emerge in front of my eyes. A storyboard, a detailed storyboard, helps the production be efficient and well prepared overall. I'm one of these people who storyboards in great detail. I've done a lot of drawings for this film. I use an iPad program, drawing program, and I map out every single shot in the film. Once I start storyboarding it, it starts to pull it out of my mind. The imagery starts to become more concrete. The imagery starts to emerge. So I might have a notion of a scene, but I don't actually know how it's going to look until I start drawing it. By storyboarding the film, I'm able to kind of almost like meditate on the film that's taking place in my mind's eye. I'm able to start reflecting on it and thinking about it as I draw that imagery down into a drawing and start to think of that practical process of realizing that imagery. For me, the story already exists in my mind. It's there. I can't always see all of it, but once I start storyboarding it, it starts to pull it out of my mind. Once we then get onto set, it's just the practical business of capturing these moments. I share that with my team, my cinematographer and my production designer and sound recordist and production manager, and we can sit there and discuss the various requirements and how we're going to organize it and how we're going to shoot it and what's required of a location, what the challenges are going to be in sound recording and so on. So it just provides a very clear platform, almost like an architectural drawing of the project that everybody can galvanize around. One thing is having a script, but it's quite a different thing having a storyboard. I spend a lot of time casting the right person in the first place because I don't want them to act. I want them to be themselves. And in a sense, if I cast the right person, I've already got 70 or 80% of my performance. The process then of directing them on the screen is much more a sort of practical process about where do you go and how do you do it, where do you move, and very, very importantly for me, where are you looking and what are you doing with your eyes? So I spend a lot of time giving direction around eyes and eye lines and reactions with the eyes, because in a sense for me the cinema is about, the most important part of the body, the human body in cinema is the eyes. And that's what I spend most of my time directing. The camera doesn't lie. It's not about symbolic performance. It's not about pretending to be something else or someone else. It's simply about being oneself in this particular circumstance. It's often the first take that's the best. We might do subsequent takes because, for technical reasons. But often that first moment when they've got the lines in the right place, in the right order and in the right manner, capturing that is sometimes a magical thing. We were very fortunate to be able to get access to a residential home for elderly people. The beauty of this location is that it afforded us an opportunity to actually use bits of it to construct a number of different locations, about 3 different locations from one setting, so to speak. And this is one of the beauties of filmmaking, is the fact that you can construct the world. We're able to build 2 locations that relate to our main character Campbell visiting his childhood home, visiting his elderly mother who's suffering from dementia, and visiting his uncle. These 2 particular scenes are quite important in Campbell's discovery of who he really is. So when I'm thinking of Cleft Lip, when I'm thinking of the scenes that we're shooting, although one might see bits and pieces of what we're shooting in terms of the picture, but I have great plans for how that picture is going to work with the sound. One of the key ways in which I create a new world in my films is actually through the relationship between images and sounds. I think about the sound design as I'm writing the script. We obviously try and record sound to the best of our ability on location, and that includes the dialogue. We like to use the natural sound recorded in situ, partly because that voice is a natural part of the performance and the space. But we do a lot of work in post-production sound. We kind of rebuild the soundtrack in post-production, but we rebuild it on the basis of things that we've recorded. The quality of the digital cameras we're using nowadays are fantastic. And actually it allows us to go and shoot things in almost total darkness, for example. And I think that kind of opportunity, that kind of technology means that I'm able to think about working exclusively with natural light and available light. So now that we're shooting Cleft Lip, we have a couple of lights that we, on very rare occasions, use, often just because we just need to fill the shadow in a face or something like that, very subtly, but it's very rare. We work with natural light and we get fantastic images out of it. Natural light can be very evocative. Natural light is beautiful. Through the relationship between images and sounds, editing and pace, it's that combination of things that's creating my cinematic world for the film